Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. This is going to be the last one of these for a while because I've got about all the bins that I need to do. I may find more room or more stuff, but life isn't about accumulation of stuff. Okay, I know. We kind of go with that, but really what I'm looking for is specific kinds of things, and just buying random things. It's okay, and it's interesting, and makes good video, but quite frankly, it gets boring. So, today we're going to talk about the things that I got at the Restore. My last trip to the Restore. Not the last one ever, just the one I took last. There's an advantage to having a flood. It causes me to clean off the bench. So we have a nice clean bench to work from. This thing is a scraper. And it's a very nice scraper. Now I don't see a name brand on it. And I haven't cleaned it up to see if there's anything etched into the shank. But I don't see anything. But what this is for is scraping. Works pretty cool. Now this is made in West Germany. Cost $1. This thing cost $1 too. That's why I picked them up. I don't know if this was bent on purpose or bent by accident. I'm not really sure. But it's a flush cutting saw. Take that label off, and there's a name underneath it. Constantine, West Germany. Now it could just be accidentally that they're matching handles, well, similar handles. Could be that's just the style to put 2 rings on it. But it's a flush cutting saw. If I were to have a dowel sticking up out of this, I could take this saw and cut it off without making big gouges in the surface. It doesn't have any set, so it's not going to cut big things, but they're very nice, especially if you're doing dowel work or inlay or something like that. I don't do that much, but you know, it's $1. After I shot this video, I was looking for something else on the internet and ran across the advertisement for Rockler. And there in the advertisement is a veneer saw. Yep, looks just like this one. It's a veneer saw. Probably came from Rockler. It's bent on purpose. That's the way it's built. Also, it's $20. So, I think I did pretty well. This thing I will use. Out in the garage, there is a 1946 226 cubic inch 6-cylinder flathead Ford engine. And that engine needs a valve job. It also needs to have a great many things done to it. When I saw this at the Restore, I thought, well, that's a valve tool. That's great. This will reach over the block, grab a hold of that valve, and let me compress it. Now, I might have to shorten this stem a little bit because I think this is for a I might have to shorten this rod up a little bit because it's for an overhead valve engine. But I've tried compressing those valve springs, and I've got a little tool like a pair of pliers that you use. It doesn't work too good. Hoping this will do it. If not, I wasted $3 and I'll use it for the next time I do the valves on an overhead valve engine. Never done the valves on an overhead valve engine. Well, at least not a full size. Maybe this will work on a Briggs. Who knows? But $3. And it came in the box. That's supposed to make it worth more. This shows it being used on a flathead engine. So I'm assuming it's going to work. You know what happens when you say assume? You put ass ahead of you and me. Now we get into the bins. Tons of bins. The reason I bought the box? Brass screws, screwdriver, straight screwdriver bits. Those are valuable. At least to me. And more brass screws. And these are cut tacks. They're not carpet tacks. I don't know if they actually have a name that they're given other than cut tacks. Empty bin. Nails. More nails. Slightly smaller nails. Good, this one is actually organized pretty well. Empty bin. Oh, that one has some screws jammed in underneath there. More straight bit screws. There we go. Oh, this has wire cloth staples. Must be for upholstery. Maybe this guy did furniture. Yep. Now some of these are Phillips head screws. I was able to unstick the little drawer divider, and of course we dropped a screw, but I was able to get that unstuck and then straighten out the screws in the bin, and it's interesting for me, but I doubt it was for anybody else, so we'll just fast forward through that and go on to the interesting stuff, which I hope you're finding interesting. More straight bit screws. These little tiny short, what do they call those? Button head screws. The thing I just called a button head screw is actually what's called a truss head screw, according to the description on Google. Trust that for what you want. There's another thing that's come up. Flathead screws. Now, flathead screws to me are a screw with a head that's flat. And according to Google, the straight bit screwdriver is used in a flat or slotted head. Sometimes called flathead, sometimes called slotted head. Confusing for me because a flathead screw has a flat head so it can be countersunk. Go figure. Flathead screws, all different sizes, all various shapes and all divided up into the drawers. Oh, these are flatheads. Very similar in size to these, but these are button heads. Well, I'm going to have to look that up because my mind is escaping me right now. I cannot remember what the name for an oval-headed screw is. Oh, there's an Allen wrench, because there's always Allen wrenches. And some mixed up 1032 and 832 screws. These are some 624 screws. And mixed 624 and sheet metal and a little wire nut, which I don't like. If the wire is that small, I would just as soon put a crimp connector on it. Oh, little brass nails. At least they're brass colored. They may just be brass plated, but they're brass looking. And some tiny brads. I don't use tiny brads very often. I don't use brads, period, very often. But when I do, it's nice to have the right size. This is a mixed group of 1/4-20s. Hate it when I drop something. But that's what magnets are for. Not going to bother sorting these right now, but I'll divide those out and put them in the proper drawers. I have other drawers for 1/4-20 bolts. These are some bronze colored Phillips head number 632 screws. Some tiny Phillips head screws. Now we're getting down into mixed bins. If any of you ever used one of these, I've seen them before, but I never used them. Looks to be, let's see, it's made in USA. Gonna have to get a magnifying glass to read that. I didn't used to have to use a magnifying glass for everything, but when you do, you do. But when you do, you might as well get a good one. Buildex Easy Anchor. Kind of an unusual looking little thing. My understanding is this point acts as a drill bit and goes through plasterboard. Then these large threads go in and engage the plasterboard. Well, we might find a screw that fits later. They perform the same function as these little plastic ones. And that's okay. I'd rather use expansion bolts or poly anchors. More brads. Now this is something new. It's $1.20. I'm gonna bring the camera over so you can see it. Now these are rather unique. They look like trammel points. I don't know exactly what they're used for, but it certainly looks like there's some kind of a device for marking something. Deck screws, and I have no idea what these are. Looks like some kind of a connecting strap for something. That one looks like it's glued in. Ah, just stuck. Might have been some kind of a varnish or something on it. And these are just little wire brads with a picture hanger in there. I really get the feeling this guy was doing furniture repair, because this looks like upholstery brads. All different kinds of it. Yep, definitely looks like an upholsterer. Let's see, made in Canada. Jumper wires. And a Phillips head bit. Measuring tape made out of plastic, both metric and imperial. I don't expect to use this a lot, but it's an interesting thing. These are for shelves. And they're named Nape Voigt, V-O-G-T, out of Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids is just up the road about an hour, up 131. Big furniture maker. Kind of goes along with the theme, doesn't it? Picture hangers. The one from the other drawer can go in there. And these are one of those cube tap things, but this is a unique one. It's for allowing you to plug multiple cords into one of these single outlet. But I don't like them. I don't like them because it lets people overload things. They'll hook up three hot They'll hook up 3 heating pads onto something like that. Or 3 1500 watt house space heaters. And every year about this time somebody catches a house on fire because they're using something like this. Not a good thing to have. In the trash. I'll put these in with the other picture hangers. I have enough picture hangers I could hang all the pictures in the Louvre now. Okay, that's that. There we go. Now we get to the big ones. You've been wondering, I suppose, what these big yellow things are back here. I'll show you. I usually see these in hardware stores. These were at the Restore. And they're the kind of thing that you put the box from the supplier in. They come packed with screws and bolts and an assortment of things. And each one goes in a little divided spot. You can put the full boxes back here. That way when somebody's looking for it, the name of what's in the drawer is right there. You've probably seen these at the hardware store. If you get a chance to go to a hardware store and you've never been, go. It's great. These don't have the drawers in them. Nothing. And in a way that's better for me, because that way I can take some of the stuff that I already have and divide it up and put it into things like this and have it so I can find it. Take the labeler, put it across the front. That'll be really nice. I would have liked to have gotten more of the yellow boxes, but it's a Restore. They get what they get. You know, they only had these 3. That was it. I bought this box and this box for $8 a piece, and I think it's well worth the $8 because it's a really nice, solid, sturdy box. I can hang it on the wall over there in the place that I'm building for the storage area, which I haven't started yet. I wanted to get some idea of what size I was going to have. I think I'm done getting bins. I've got enough to cover almost the entire wall, so I'm going to stop buying bins unless something shows up really good, and then, you know, Sneelock takes over and I end up bringing it home. I'm going to talk to the local hardware store. They have dividers like this, and I'll bet they get empty ones. Now, unless somebody takes them home, I'm going to be seeing if I can get the empty dividers from the hardware store, just because it'd be nice to have. If not, I can make trays to fit in there, because this is open. It's an open grid work. If I set something on there, it would fall through. I'd need to have some kind of tray. And I was thinking something like the old egg crate packing. Just a metal box, metal, plastic, whatever I can come up with. Box, and then dividers in it so I can separate things. And that's so in the far distant future, someone will be opening up drawers and saying, wow, he had everything so neatly organized. That's not likely to happen, but then, you know, we can all dream. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union, without the express written permission of the parents or legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.